Hey yo, it's Cresho, back again with another video, and today we'll be trying to beat Pokemon Omega Ruby without catching any Pokemon. The rules are on screen and also in the description, and I will be hardcore nuzlocking this playlist. So without any further ado, let's see if we can beat Pokemon Omega Ruby without catching any Pokemon. We start off by picking a boy and naming him Spen. I then quickly find out that my mom left me in the back of a moving van. Like, what kind of mother is that? Come on, Mom. Then we get into one of the most annoying features in this game. I don't know why. Setting the time. We then go and walk into our next door neighbor's room, May, which is honestly really creepy, and I don't understand what Game Freak put this in. But she seems flattered by having us in, so we already got girls under our belt. I'll take it. After yapping around with her for a bit, we then go outside to see her old man yelling, getting chased by a Poochyena, where we open his bag and pick our first Pokemon. Mudkip. Debatably the cutest Hoenn starter, but also the best for this kind of playthrough. Mudkip is good against the first couple gyms, and is great throughout the entirety of the playthrough due to the lack of grass types in Hoenn. He then lets us name our Mudkip, and we name him Poseidon before going to challenge his daughter on the route up north. She sends out her starter, Trico, which is strong to ours, but we don't have much problems with it and take it out with a few tackles. After defeating May, we go back to her father's lab and receive a Pokedex. We also receive Pokeballs, but we're not using those in this playthrough. Me and Poseidon then head off to Petalburg, where we run into my dad harassing some young Pokemon trainer before he invites us in the gym to have a private chat with us. Mid-conversation, we get interrupted by some geek named Wally, who needs help catching a Pokemon. My kind-hearted father gives him a Zigzagoon. Wally ends up catching a Waltz and becomes very proud of himself for that, which I don't understand. We then head off to Petalburg Woods, where we are stopped and interrupted by some awfully ugly Magma grunt who's harassing a poor scientist. After kicking his you-know-what, the scientist gives us the XP share out of commiserations for saving him. As we are walking out of Petalburg Woods, some creepy Magma grunt girl is staring at us and stalking us. Who knows what she's thinking? I'm creeped out. We end up making it to Rustboro, where, might I say, is very beautiful on these 3DS games. I think Game Freak did a great job on it. I then take on the gym, where Poseidon makes quick work of all these gym trainers and completely wipes them out with barely taking any damage before challenging the gym leader. Roxanne starts with a Geodude, who Poseidon hits with a water gun, but Geodude lives on 1 HP due to Sturdy. Geodude hits us with a Rock Tomb, lowering our speed. Roxanne heals on the next turn. Geodude ends up dying anyway due to the water gun. She then sends out Nosepass, who, even though she outspeeds, still ends up suffering the same fate as Geodude after a couple water guns. Poseidon wins us the gym battle with hardly any effort and no worry of dying. We obtain the Stone Badge and Rock Tomb TM upon our victory. We then continue to progress in the game as usual, trying to avoid trainers to avoid over-leveling. Unfortunately, due to what seems to be a glitch, we get seen outside the trainer's field of view. How do you even see me? Because of the stupid trainers with eyes in the back of their heads, Poseidon ends up evolving too early, which means we're at the level cap before we even fight the gym. That's why I'm bending the rules a little bit, and it's going to be 16-ish, which means Marshawn's going to be around a level over-leveled, but to combat that, I will not be healing in Pokemon Centers after I fight all the gym trainers, and I will not be using held items in battle. The reason I'm not restarting the whole run is because it's almost impossible to avoid all these glitch trainers with only one Pokemon and not become over-leveled. It would cause the fights to be unbalanced, especially against the gym leaders, which is what I'm not trying to do. So I think one level with these new restrictions is okay. Anyways, Brawly starts off the battle with a Machop, who we hit with a Mud Shot for over half before getting hit big damage with Seismic Toss. It's okay because we end up finishing him off the next turn with another Mud Shot. He then sends out Makuhita, who I'm a little bit scared of, but it ends up being all in vain because he only goes for Sand Attack. And after 2 hit Mud Shots and 1 miss, we win the battle with no worries in sight. We then receive the Knuckle Badge from Brawly and the Bulk Up TM upon victory. Editing Spen here, just to let you know, the level cap shown on screen right now is incorrect. The actual level cap is 21 and it won't be 28 until we beat the 3rd gym. Sorry about the inconvenience, back to the video. Steven then sends us on some wild goose chase to send Devon's parts to some old man in Slateport? Ew. We then get interrupted by some Magma grunts trying to get in on this raw action. We beat them quickly, and then Maxi, the leader of Team Magma, comes to intimidate us. But doesn't he know we're some naive 12-year-old boy that won't fall for his intimidation tactics and not be scared of this big red goofball? Dumb Maxi. Try again harder next time. We then go to the contest hall, where we run into some Kim Kardashian wannabe blue chick with her big juicy Altaria. And I can totally tell she's into me. Like, she makes me a whole outfit, she makes me get changed in front of her. Maybe she's just a creep. What's up with creeps in this game? Either way, we wreck the competition like a boss and get rewarded with a new team member, Pikachu, who we then name Zeus and then quickly make it learn Icicle Crash, so it can deal with all these annoying grass types that could be a threat to our beloved Poseidon. I then make my way to Mauville City and I get stopped by the infamous May battle. I'm a bit worried, but she starts with Slugma and I start with Poseidon. Poseidon barely doesn't kill with a mud shot and then gets his Oran Berry burnt up. He then takes Slugma out next turn with a water gun, and then I switch into Zeus to deal with her Grovyle. Zeus gets hit twice by Mega Drain and has to eat a berry, but then gets to clutch it up in the end. I was scared he was going to die, but it was okay. Then Zeus barely survives a rollout on 10 HP and kills Waymir with a second Electro Ball. Thank God for Zeus. I then intrude on Wally and his father having an argument on whether Geeky Wally should become a Pokemon trainer or not. However, I'm forced to battle him and I wreck his Ralts with my Poseidon. Dumb Wally. Did you really think your little femboy Ralts was going to be enough to take down the Greek gods Poseidon and Zeus? Think again. I then take on Watson, the electric type gym leader. Unfortunately, my team was both one level over the cap because of the amount of mandatory trainer battles from Slateport to Mauville. And again, just like earlier, no help items will be used and I didn't heal after beating all the gym trainers. So my PP is a lot lower. After missing a Mud Bomb, I'm able to take out his lead Magnemite. He then sends out his Ace Magneton, which takes a little bit more effort. I run out of a Mud Bomb PP midway through and I have to resort to water guns, and it's not looking very great. I get confused and hit myself in confusion, and I wasn't very stoked about it. I almost lose Marsh Stomp because he gets so low because of the confusion and the magnet bombs, but luckily I pull through. Voltorb comes in and I hit him with 2 tackles to win me the battle. I then receive the Dynamo badge and Vault Switch TM upon victory over Big Juicy Watson. I then continue with my journey and run into this creepy kidnapper looking guy that honestly weirds me out. Like, why is there this full grown man trying to teach me how to make hidden bases once he knows that I'm a 12-year-old boy? Like, what are you gonna do to me in this secret base? It better not be kept a secret, especially from the cops. I then make it to Meteor Falls where I run into May and some Team Magma grunts and an admin. We have to save another scientist, which is like a common theme in this playthrough. I don't know why. Either way, me and May make quick work of these Team Magma losers until we get approached by Archie, the leader of the opposing team, Team Aqua. His team is kind of a mess and kind of lost the rivalry in this game, so maybe he's a bigger loser than the Magma grunts, but at least we saved this innocent scientist guy and his wife is really happy about it. I then make my way up Mount Chimney, which, might I add, is a very nice scene in this game. This game is really pretty, especially for a 3DS game. I'm really impressed by the graphics. I then have to challenge Maxi as he starts with a Mightyena and I start with my Zeus. Zeus gets intimidated but hits an Electro Ball for basically no damage and gets hit big with Assurance. I then paralyze Mightyena to stop it from attacking me. It hits me with a Swagger and I go to switch out. Once Poseidon comes in on the switch, he immediately gets switched back out from Roar. Thank you, Mightyena. I then hit Mightyena with another Electro Ball that does a lot more now that it's paralyzed. He swaggers me again, but I go for Electro Ball even though I confuse. I hit myself in confusion, get roared back out into Poseidon. Poseidon finishes him off with a water gun, and Zeus levels up. Maxi sends out Camerupt, and then I hit it with a water gun. It hits Poseidon with his earth power, but it's okay because I take it out with another water gun. Poseidon levels up and learns to move Rock Slide, which is going to be crucial for Maxie's next Pokemon. Maxie then sends out Golbat, which would be a huge threat normally, but since I now just learned the brand new Rock Slide move and healing with an Oran Berry, I annihilate that stupid looking bat and win the battle. Maxie is shocked by this and can't believe how good I am. I then make it to Laverage Town, where an old lady gives me an egg, which is going to be our next teammate. After running for an awfully long time, god that was brutal, our egg hatches into the beautiful Wynot, who I name Aphrodite to match her future beauty. I then take on Gym Leader Flannery, where I send out Poseidon to do some big work with Rock Slide. I chose Rock Slide over the stab moves because I did the calcs, and since Rock Slide is physical, it did more damage because of Marshtomp's higher physical attack. I then take out Numel and Torkoal without much issue. I did switch to special moves for Torkoal because he has a huge defense stat, but we take it out with ease, not even getting hit, and getting the Heat Badge and Overheat TM upon victory. Now we have to trek back. I then end up getting a new teammate, Anorith, and I name it Aries. I ended up going back and training up the team, where Wynot evolved into Wobbuffet. Look at her. She's gorgeous. Anorith is now our new teammate, and he's going to be essential for the next gym. I had a lot of trouble with the gym trainers in the Petalburg gym. They're normal, and their normal types are neutral to basically my whole team, other than Anorith. And because of that, it's a lot harder to kill them, especially since most of them are fully evolved, or at least close to being fully evolved. After a long and hard fight with all the gym trainers, I make it to the final room, which my father resides in. It's now time for a father-son battle. He starts with Slacking and I start with Zeus. I immediately paralyze him, so his Truon ability will be even more detrimental. He hits me with a Yawn, and I end up switching out. I switch into Poseidon to take advantage of the Truon and not get hit on the switch. I then start hitting him with the powerful Mud Bomb. It doesn't do much damage and I get yawned again, so I switch again. This is getting into some switching shenanigans, but it's okay. Whatever it takes to win this gym battle. I hit him with an Electro Ball and get him down to the red, and I know he's going to heal. He yawns me again, so I switch again for free. It would have been free anyway because he healed, but the Truant ability also helps. I hit him with a Mud Bomb, but it misses. He had his Truant turn, which is weird because he didn't attack the previous turn. He then was fully paralyzed, suffered from Truant, then got hit by a Mud Bomb. Didn't do much, but I got locked into Encore, so I continuously Mud Bombed him as he kept trying to Truant. I don't know why I kept trying to go for Water Gun after I knew I had to do Mud Bomb, but you know, we move. He then sends out Vigoroth. I switch into Aries to resist his normal hits. He hits a huge Retaliate, but since Aries Rock type, he's able to take the hit just fine. He hits a big Bug Bite, gets trapped into Encore, hits another big Bug Bite, gets hit low, heals with an Oran Berry, and hits a third Bug Bite to drop Vigoroth like Aries' prime Muhammad Ali. I switch out when he brings in his next Slacking because I thought he was going to go for a Retaliate. He didn't. He went for Feint Attack, which is almost as bad. I switch back into Zeus on the loafing turn and paralyze him just like the first one. He hits me with Swagger, so I know I gotta switch. I switch into Poseidon, where I'm running out of ideas here because I'm low on Mud Bomb PP, but I need to hit him. So I hit him with a Mud Bomb and it doesn't do much, but his accuracy gets lowered. I miss a Mud Bomb, but Truant comes into play. I'm really taking advantage of his ability because if I didn't, I'd lose this fight. I don't know who to switch into at this point, but I go into Zeus because it's the least risky switch. I hit him with an Electro Ball, which does big damage, way more than I thought, especially because he has Paralyze. And then I finish him off with an Electro Ball without any deaths, which I'm very proud of. I get the basic badge, Retaliate, and he tells me I can surf, which is great. Then my dad and Molly's dad have a bonding moment, and it was like gay, which is like, okay, it's 2024. It's great to be gay. Just admit it. Don't cheat on mom. I then get approached by Steven, and he calls on Latias to take us to some random island. This is not as creepy as the other guy that tried to give me a hidden base. I trust Steven. He seems like the type of guy to get girls. Speaking about girls, look at this baddie. Courtney is a baddie. When I was young, I had a huge crush on Courtney. And she comes to challenge us for the Latiosite Megastone. So, me and Steven take them on in a double battle. The spewing lava animation isn't the only flaming hot thing when you have Courtney in the battle. Me and Steven make quick work of the baddie and her grunt, and then I'm giving a Latios. I named the Latios Hades, and I know typically in nuzlocks, especially hardcore nuzlocks, you're not allowed to use legendaries. But Latios doesn't have that high of a base stat total to begin with, and I'm not using the Soul Dew or Latiosite items. Also, don't think he's going to be that big of a game changer, just a little foreshadowing. He's not going to be that good as you guys probably think he will be. After that, I make my way to the weather station where I fight some Magma grunts and fight Tabitha. He was really easy with only being taken out with one surf by Poseidon. Afterwards, I get a cast form for helping this poor weatherman out. I name my beautiful cast form Asclepius, the Greek god of science. Hell yeah. I then have to battle Meg, but this time it's not as bad now that I have a full team. She starts with Slugma and I start with Anorith. I kill Slugma in one smackdown, and then she sends out Railman. I switch into Zeus to deal with this Whaleman. I get hit for about a third health, and then hit big with Electro Ball. The Whaleman just goes for Mist, and I can finish it off with Electro Ball next turn. No problems. She then sends out her Ace Grovyle, which I switch in Ares and get hit with a Pursuit to heal with the Oran Berry on the switch. Ares is the best for dealing with grass types. Ares defeated Grovyle with one Bug Bite, and I made it to Fortree City. I then have to get the Devon scope so I can see these invisible Kecleon guys that are hiding up and sneaking up on girls, trying to, surprise them. It's not a very effective method. I told him just to go on Tinder and make a whole profile. He didn't listen. Either way, he got mad at me and I had to fight him and put him down. Then Steven gives me the Devon scope, which means I can go back to Fortree City, clear out the Kecleon so I can challenge the gym and get the Grass Knot TM. I then take on the gym trainers, which I make quick work of with my team, no issues, and barely getting hit. I then take on Wyona, the flying type gym leader. Wyona starts with Swellow, and I obviously start with Zeus. Zeus recently learned Discharge, and that comes in handy for the Swellow. Zeus ends up having to take on Altaria, but I think it's fine because I have a 4 times effective Icicle Crash, but it doesn't kill Altaria, and she gets a defense boost. I then go for another Icicle Crash, hoping it'll KO, and it barely does nothing. Mostly because the defense boost, so I go with a Thunder Wave to paralyze. Then Altaria heals with Roost, so I'm running out of options here. I'm theorizing what I should do, so I hit a Vault Switch to get out of there with Zeus, and switch to someone that's more fit for fighting Altaria. I send in Latios, and he hits a Dragon's Breath, which does a big damage, but gets hit with a Dragon's Breath back and gets paralyzed. Hits another Dragon's Breath and kills the Altaria, no issue. She then sends in Skarmory, so I theorize to switch to Aphrodite. Aphrodite has both Mirror Coat and Counter, which is very good for taking out opponents, and just in case, I put Destiny Bond on him. Aphrodite locks Skarmory into Steel Wing, so I can get counters off every turn. I get hit for a bit, and then do big damage to Skarmory. I get hit for a bit, and then KO Skarmory. I really didn't expect Aphrodite to be this good, but throughout the playlist, she's actually been very fun to use and pretty clutch. I then switch into Zeus for her Pelipper and KO it with one Discharge, taking down Wyona and winning the battle. Afterwards, our beloved Zeus evolves into a Swampert. What a cool Pokemon, and also what a strong Pokemon for a home playthrough. I then am given the Feather Badge by Wyona and the TM for Roost. I then continue on my journey and find a Light Ball along the way. I immediately give it to Zeus as this will be a huge power upgrade. On my way, I run into Lily Cove City just to get some repels for Mount Pyre. But unfortunately, I run into May, completely forgetting there was a forced rival battle here. I thought it was after you already beat Mount Pyre, but I guess you can trigger it without even going to Mount Pyre in the first place. How unfortunate. She starts off with Swellow and I start off with Zeus, luckily. My team is a little damaged from fighting trainers along the way, but we should be fine. We're also underleveled, but I hit a discharge and one shot not only Swellow but Whalmer. I then Vol Switch on my Cargo and almost kill it, which I was really surprised about. I go into Poseidon and he eats a Flame Burst up for breakfast. I then hit a Surf and eliminate my Cargo. I guess his car didn't go fast enough for his Poseidon. She then sends out Sceptile and I bring out Aphrodite. Let's counter this mofo. I then wait for her to do a physical move and use counter on Sceptile. She then detects the next turn because we don't get the first one shot, unfortunately, but counter after the detect to win the battle. I then buy my luxurious max propels and continue on the Mount Pyre with no issues. I take on some stupid magma grunts, make quick work of them with Poseidon and also Escapules. I then make it to the top of the mountain where Maxi chooses the right orb this time, unlike the original Ruby and Sapphire, which is a nice touch from Green Freak. He then makes a break for it to Slateport to steal some submarine or something, while the baddie comes and takes me on in battle. She ended up being probably the easiest magma battle I've had so far, with Poseidon only needing one surf to take her out. Afterwards, I claim the blue orb and then haul my way over to Slateport City to hopefully stop Team Magma from getting this submarine. However, once I arrive, they summon their peasants to come distract me while they make a break for it in the submarine. I defeat their peasants very easily, but still they took off with the submarine. This nice old man still takes me by boat back to Lily Cove so I can go take down them in their evil villain lair. Nothing much happens. I avoid most of the grunts, trying not to over level or even be on level. I'm trying to keep it under level because the next two gyms level caps are very close. I ended up facing some quintuplets, which wasn't a hard battle. I killed them in one surf, but it was pretty cool to watch all 5 Poochyens die at once. Now I have to take on the baddie again, and she tells me she wants to engage with me, which is like W-Riz? I'm kidding. But no, seriously, this battle wasn't supposed to be hard, but I made a very bad mistake. For some reason I thought Brine would kill Camerupt, and I got hit with a huge rock slide which annihilated Ares, giving us the first death of the run. I was so upset at myself. That was a completely stupid death. He shouldn't have died there. I should have just switched into Poseidon and got the free kill, but I didn't, and now Ares is dead and I have to box up. Rest in peace Ares in the comments. And then I go to take on the Mod Steep City gym, but I quickly want to say something in editing. I just realized since the past gym, the level cap on screen it says 46, it's supposed to be 45. I know it's not that big of a deal, but I've been having issues with changing the text for some reason. Just go off of what the actual level caps are. That's what I followed while I was playing through it, so don't worry, there was no cheating done. I was actually underleveled for this gym, like far underleveled. Some of my Pokemon were like 38. But then I take this cool path to go fight Tate and Liza, the double battle gym leaders. They lead with Solrock and Lunatone, and I lead with Poseidon and Hades. I lead with Hades because he can resist Poseidon surfs, while Poseidon can get 2 stab surfs off on Lunatone and Solrock, which are both weak to it. But annoying Solrock sets up Light Screen, which stalls this battle out way beyond what it should be. I try to do some switch shenanigans, but it's just not working. The battle takes much longer than it should have, only because of Light Screen. They aren't really doing much damage to me, and I'm not doing much damage to them because my team is heavily specialty attackers, which is really annoying. However, we get through with no deaths and no close calls, so I'll take it. I'm then granted the Mine Badge and Calm Mind TM for being victorious over these stallers. Then these Team Magma terrorists light up a bomb in the middle of the ocean, creating a huge beam of light in the sky from the explosion. Then Steven pulls me aside and takes me into his house, where he gives me the scuba gear and the dive TM so I can go underwater and fight these terrorists. I make it to the seafloor cavern and search for these terrorists. I make it through them all, and then I make it to their leader, Maxi. Maxi starts with a Mightyena, and I start off with Hades. I switch out to Zeus to hit a discharge because I know that it'll do big damage. I don't really have any good moves against dark types now that I lost Ares, but it's okay. Zeus does the job. He then sends out Wheezing, which I make a foolish decision in switching out Hades, not remembering that he had Explosion. Blowing Hades to shreds because I forgot to heal him before the fight. Another silly death. Rest in peace to Hades in the comments. Then I switch into Poseidon looking for revenge, and I hit a Rock Slide on his Crobat. His Crobat is a lot better than what his Golbat was, so it's not going to be a one-shot this time. I go for my first Mega Evolution of the playthrough, and this is allowed since he Mega Evolves his camera up next turn. I missed a Rock Slide, but thank God that I Mega Evolved because I don't think I would have survived. I go for a dive because I can't risk missing, and then he sends in his Mega Camerupt. This thing looks sick. I dive again, and this is basically a free win. It destroys this poor volcano guy, but Poseidon is now the god of all. Maxie is completely destroyed and distraught, and still wakes up Primal Groudon even though I beat him fair and square. Damn. Imagine doing that. Imagine being that sort of a loser that you'll still awaken a primal god after you lost a battle that you promised you wouldn't do it. I mean, he is an evil team leader after all. Why does Groudon look like a awakened baby when he's screaming at the sky? I still don't understand it. Maxie ends up losing his mind, and then they all kind of turn against him. His whole team turns against him, and he slowly comes to his senses again after awakening this disgusting beast. I mean, Groudon's a cool design, but he is, gonna kill everybody if we don't do something. And obviously, why not make the 12-year-old kid, save the day? Maybe, you could make the champion Steven do it. Maybe anyone else. Maybe another champion from another region. Maybe the Elite Four. Maybe the gym leaders. Nope. A 12-year-old kid. So I go to Zootopolis because I gotta be Batman. And I go to the Cave of Origin, where I'm told that I'm gonna meet Wallace. Steven told me that I would meet Wallace here, and I do. He introduces me to Wallace, and Wallace tells me about the Cave of Origin and his origin. I then am given the Magma suit, so I can go take on the ugly beast. Well, he's not really that ugly, like I said. I'm just trying to make it sound more cool. Groudon. I put on the Magma suit, and of course the connection cuts out. I put the blue orb in the Magma suit, and then jump on his back. I thought I jumped on his back first for some reason. Which, if I would have missed this jump, I would have died. Why are they trusting a 12-year-old kid to do this? This is what I don't understand. We walk through the pits of hell on Groudon's back and make it to the deepest part of the cave. As I enter, I worry about the battle ahead. I can't use any water moves because of Primal Groudon's ability. I can Mega Evolve, which will help, but I still can't. Quickly, why does my character take off the suit? There's boiling lava and flaming rock all around me, but I take off my magma suit that's supposed to protect me from the magma? This doesn't make much sense. Either way, Primal Groudon attacks. I use an Earthquake and he misses his main attack, his signature move. Thank God. If he would have hit that, I would have lost Poseidon. I then finish him off with another Earthquake after getting hit big damage with his signature move. I save the world, and a big beam of light goes up in the sky. I guess I'm now the terrorist after all. You see this beautiful cut scene where green dust comes from the sky. Kind of looks a little weird if you think about it. Imagine you're just chilling outside and then just green dust starts falling. I'd be freaking out. I think that's pretty weird. We see the baddie and the creep, staring up at the sky, and I'm now officially the hero. However, my hero story is not done, because I have another teammate to get. I go back to Laveridge Town and talk to that old lady again, who gives me another egg. Wow, 2 eggs just for me? She's very generous. I end up getting my new teammate, which is a Togepi. I name him Cerberus, and he quickly evolves after I train him up with all the remaining trainers left on all the routes of the trainers that I skipped. I then go back to Zootopolis to take on the last gym leader, Wallace. He's a water type specialist, and Zeus should eat him up. And Zeus does exactly that. Zeus recently learned Thunderbolt, which is an incredibly powerful move. The only problems I had was maybe with the Whisk Cast because it was immune to electric. but it was okay. I was able to switch into Poseidon and get some good damage off. After getting some good damage off with Poseidon, he then sends out Milotic, which Zeus takes care of, and he also takes care of the Sea King and the rest of his Pokemon, making it an easy sweep for Zeus. We are then given our final badge, the Rain Badge, and the HM for Waterfall. We can now scale Evergrande City and be able to take on the Victory Road. In the Victory Road, we begin to induce an onslaught of destruction across all the trainers by brutally beating them down with all of our team members other than Cerberus, who is too weak at the moment. However, we still take out most of the trainers with ease, having minor close calls and no deaths. At the end of the Victory Road, we find Geeky Wally, who kinda became kinda cool. He leads with Altaria and I lead with Poseidon. I go for a Stone Edge, which completely sends her to the Stone Age. He then sends out Rosalia, so I send out Zeus for an Icicle Crash. Zeus gets hit for big damage, but it's okay. Rosalia gets destroyed. He then sends out Magneton, which I then switch into Aphrodite. Aphrodite makes quick work of the Magneton with Mirror Coat, but unfortunately got burned in the process. He then sends out his Delcatty against our damaged and burned Aphrodite. So then I switch to Poseidon for the final battle. But Delcatty's not really any issue, any worry, so I take it out with one Earthquake. But here's the big shocker, the Mega Gallade he has, which I thought was so cool the first time I played through this game. I match his Mega Evolution with my Swampert, and it's a Mega B Mega. He goes for Swords Dance, which was a huge mistake because I Ocom with a big Mega Earthquake. It was a normal Earthquake, but it was from a Mega Swampert, so I called it Mega Earthquake. Anyways, we go to the Pokemon League after beating Wally, after beating every trainer in the region. We also pick up the Mewtwo Y, even though we're never going to use it. And while I was training up for the League, Cerberus evolved into a Togekiss, which is so clutch. That's going to be so good for the League. I ended up finding a shiny stone while I was going through the region, and then I begin my trek in the Pokemon League. The first trainer is Sydney. He starts with a Mightyena, and I start with Cerberus. He hits me with an Intimidate, but it doesn't really matter since I'm a special attacker. I start spamming Dazzling Gleam and Air Slash against most of his team, and it goes very well. The only damage we took in the whole fight being from Shiftry's Fake Out. Cerberus basically gets a clean sweep with no drawbacks, which is great because this is basically his debut. Other than fighting random trainers and training up, Cerberus has not got to fight any big time battles, so this was awesome for Cerberus. Then we go against Phoebe. I've taught Cerberus Shadow Ball to take care of most of these ghost types. I then got hit by Fake Out, but Dazzling Gleam did the trick on Sableye. He used to be completely immune to all super effective damage. I didn't realize Dusknoir had Ice Punch, but it didn't really matter because Cerberus is not only strong but also pretty bulky. Shadow Ball took down the bulky Dusknoir, and then she sent out her two Bannettes. The first one goes down in one, the second one goes down in one. Cerberus is becoming a real MVP, completely soloing 2 of the 4 Elite Four members. The next one Cerberus can't do as much, but this is where we have our cast form. Hail yeah! Actually, hail no, because we're sending out the sun. So sun yeah. We're gonna burn these ice types to a crisp. But stupid Glalie goes for Light Screen, which completely messes up my plan. He still takes big damage, but it's not as good. And then he sets up Hail, which changes my cast form's type. And then sent the sun back up as she heals, so I can go for another Stab Fire Blast, hoping to obliterate this thing. It again lives in the red and sets up the Hail again, so I have to set up the sun again. I set it back up and change forms, also to resist the ice types, but he goes for a Crunch. Light Screen fortunately wears off. I'm able to take down Glalie. She then sends out Wall Rain, which is a big problem. The only good thing I have is Zeus, but I don't want to switch into Zeus because he's failed. So I switch into Poseidon, knowing that it can't really do much to me because of my typing. I then go for a Stone Edge, but it misses. Hits me with a Blizzard for almost half. I hit a Stone Edge and almost kills it. I know I can survive another Blizzard, but I don't want to miss a move, so I go for Earthquake. Luckily, she heals anyway, and Earthquake takes her down to half, so I finish her with another Earthquake. Then Poseidon is against Frostlass. I'm not staying in on that. I bring in Aphrodite to see what we can do. She hits me with a Confuse Ray. Not good. I don't want to be hitting myself, especially with a risky Pokemon like Aphrodite. And I hit myself and get hit by the hail, which isn't great. And then I get hit by Omni Swim. But I am able to Mirror Coat it and annihilate the Frostlass. I almost get killed by the next Frostlass though, and then I almost kill myself. I got upset, so I switched into Cerberus, knowing that this thing can't really do much to me because I can outspeed on the next turn and OHKO it. Great job, Cerberus. Last thing left is the last Gaily, which I sent out Zeus for. Zeus is neutral to it, but that's the point. Both of us can't really do much to each other. So he protects, and I set up Light Screen, which I should have did the first turn, but it's okay. Now Zeus is super bulky, and with the Light Ball, it has boosted attack. However, Glalie protects again. Thunderbolt again, and end up killing the Glalie with a Volt Switch. That's Glacia. Now we're on to the last one, Drake. Drake sends out Altaria, and I have Cerberus, which is great because Fairy, for some reason, is immune to Dragon. So we can just sweep his team with little to no worry. Thank God for the Fairy type. I don't understand why Fairy doesn't resist Dragon, but you know, we use the overpowered types here. Salamence was the only scary thing because it could outspeed and hit us with Thunder Thing, but it still didn't do much, and we swept. That's Cerberus being a sweeper in 3 of the 4 Elite Four members, and also playing a big role in Glacia's battle too, against the Frostlass, and then switching out on the Glalie. Then we go against Steven, the champion, the guy that should have probably saved the world over us, but we still had to do it. This battle I'm not too scared of, because we have actual decent type matchups, because I was able to keep the strong hitters up until the end. I still would have liked Anorith in this fight, but it's okay. I taught Cerberus Flamethrower so we can take care of Skarmory, because Skarmory is just kind of annoying Pokemon to deal with because of its typing. So once he switches into Aggron, I switch into Poseidon. Poseidon's going to be the big game changer in this fight because he has Earthquake, which is strong against most of his team. The only annoying thing about Steven is that he has too many Pokemon with Sturdy. I take out Aggron, and then he brings out Cradilly, the only threat. Cradilly sets up on a Confuse Ray on a swapped in Aphrodite, and of course I hit myself in Confusion again. I have another Citrus Berry, so it's okay, and then I hit myself in Confusion again. Get hit with Giga Drain, and then I Mirror Coat it. He then full restores, which is not good for us, and I hit myself in Confusion again. And then he hits me with another Giga Drain, I get it down to low. I switch in Zeus. Zeus should be able to outspeed and kill, which he doesn't, but luckily Cradilly goes for Confuse Ray. I go for Volt Switch, and thankfully hit through Confusion. I probably would have lost Zeus there if I didn't. I switch into Swampert, and then he brings in Claydol, which I Mega Evolve a little early just because I don't like Claydol. I think it's a really bad design. I've always had annoyances with it in my playthroughs, so I wanted to kill it quicker. So I Mega Evolved and hit 2 waterfalls on his Armaldo and his Claydol to take him out. Now it's for the final Mega v Mega battle, or second final, but whatever. I hit a big Earthquake on Metagross, but he hits me with a Giga Impact, which I survive on 6 HP. How clutch, and finish off this big Mega Beast. Mega Metagross looks so sick, by the way. Steven couldn't believe his eyes. He thought he was going to kill my Swampert, but nope, Poseidon's too strong for him. Poseidon's the GOAT, other than Cerberus. Cerberus is goated too. Cerberus became the highest level, even though it was the lowest level going into the league. Not to mention, most of my team was under the level cap of around 55, which I was aiming for. Most of my team was 54 going in, so I tried to make it a little more challenging. I have to fight May, and then I take out the Swellow with Cerberus. I'm way higher level, so this fight is actually pretty easy. Most of it dying to one Dazzling Gleam, other than Wailord, because he's a big bulky boy. But Cerberus still does big work. I never knew how much I loved Togekiss up until using it in this playthrough. I didn't really like Togekiss, mostly because of Cynthia's and also because of the design. It's not really my cup of tea. I then switch into Poseidon, and then switch out of Poseidon to counter her Sceptile like I have done in like the past 3 rival fights. Giving her a little bit of deja vu, she hits me with a big shot, and then I counter it and kill it. Winning the playthrough and beating the challenge. Yes, you can beat Pokemon Omega Ruby without catching any Pokemon. This was really fun, and I hope you guys enjoyed. It took a lot of effort and time to make, so make sure to like and subscribe if you're new here, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out, and have a nice day.